We've got a lot of things to talk about. So on the sofa today, I am joined in Dupé's Den because I've renamed it. Yes. That. You see that?
Ooh, we love that.
Rebranding from 10 years ago. There we go.
It's a full circle, right?
We're back. So on the sofa today, I'm joined by Jonathan Bestley, Shea Khan, Darkwah, Killer Karnage kills.
What's good? Killer Karnage is good too.
Killer and the plastic boy. Now we haven't all got mics, so if I direct a question at you, maybe like you might be the in charge of the mic for these girls, and I'm going to be in charge of the mic for you girls. So let's start off with Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very well. It's been a minute since we've seen each other.
It's been a while. I think.
How's lockdown been treating you?
Good, like focused, productive. I've discovered exercise.
I thought you were going to say
It's
ecstasy.
new. Whole new levels of ecstasy.
Well, you've definitely been in the sun because you're looking very tan.
Thanks. That's a bit of bronzer. A bit of bronzer has helped. No.
And then beside me, I've got my good sis. Hi, Shea.
Hi, gorgeous.
Omar.
How are you?
We were at an illegal house party on the Saturday. Well, actually, it's not illegal. We were outside and you're allowed 30.
I was downstairs raving after that. So, yeah, I didn't sleep from Friday till Monday, so I was not feeling great.
That's what happens when you take too much Pro Plus. And then Darkwah. Hello. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. How are you?
You've been doing the most online.
Have I?
I feel like the content is just constant.
I mean, honey, listen, if the content is constant now, the floodgates of heaven are about to open, bitch.
Okay.
Because we're doing a lot.
And then Karnage.
What's goody?
I've been trying to get you on one of my shows for a minute. So finally, we're going to do the Ting.
Pleased to be here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely. Gary, the plastic boy.
Hey, babe.
Hey.
It's been a hot moment.
It has been a hot moment. And it's been a whole year since we did our...
Oh, the live. When you posted the other day.
Yeah, Instagram Live.
I was just like, how has it been a year?
Actually, also in the studio, come quickly and say hi. Because just come and wave. We've got Carter the Bandit, who's going to be doing some live performances for us later. So, what's going on?
I have to move my car.
What? Okay, one. It's a mad thing, and it's already mad already. Right, go and do what you need to go do really quickly. So, the idea around today's show is a series of Pride specials that I've been doing for Pride, and the hashtag is Pride in Community. I feel like after a year of lockdown, the one thing that's kept us all going is your connections with the community and how we could have all stuck together. But I wanted specifically this show to be based around like all the girls, boys, cis, unicorns in between that I've known since day one who have kind of like always broached life with just like, do you get what I mean? Authentically, like all five of you all do your thing, and you've never been kind of like ashamed to do that thing. So in this whole like, now that like people know more about like non-binary, femboys, boys who wear makeup, boys who get their nails done, I just wanted to get all my favorite girls on the sofa and just like talk about your experiences. Yes. Yeah. I love that. So Karnage will be joining us back at some point in the next 5 minutes once she's sorted her car out. But I'm going to start off with you, Jonathan. So I met you back in 2009?
Yeah.
10? Yeah. I'm fine. I'm 33 and I look good. So I don't mind telling anybody how old I am. Everything cool? Shea, oh, yeah. So see, this is what I keep forgetting. Might hug. Right, so when I met you, I legit thought you were a girl.
Yeah, everybody does.
And then you introduced yourself as Jonathan.
Yeah.
And this was before...
This was kind of before non-binary was a
Non-binary.
well-known thing.
Yeah, I think... Was non-binary around back? It's a new term, right?
Well, I don't know if it's a new term, but it's not one that I remember. Like,
Was that a noise? Do you want to interject?
If I may.
Go on quickly.
I don't think it's a new term per se. The existence has always been there. There've always been people who live between the binaries.
But there was never like an actual term that we could use.
No, I guess there was not a term, but I think it was a term that was not that popular to use because we wanted to society rather wanted to assimilate us.
I don't think there was a nice word for it. There's lots of horrible words for it.
There was right, agreed. So we'll get to that in a minute. Back in 2010, 2009, how do you identify before we even go any further?
Well, non-binary is still the closest, but I still just like labelless.
Okay.
I still, it doesn't fit.
He, him.
Not she, her. Not they, them. Like just
you.
yeah.
Okay, and I respect that. How has your journey been over the last 10 years on the scene, being in not blurred lines, but being somebody who nobody can really place gender-wise?
Well, it's I'm quite upfront about it. I don't try and change it or hide it. I have discovered over lockdown though that I'm actually embracing my more I always thought I had to be really tiny and femme and small and quiet, and it's actually oh no, I can embrace my masculine side a little bit.
I think that's a thing that people seem to feel that if you're going to identify as she, her, even if you're born he, him, you've got to look feminine. You can't be masculine and identify as they, them, or she, her. Yeah. Is that something that you guys find?
I found it really difficult. I remember because when I started actually embracing the more feminine energy that I actually possess, it was more in drag, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do drag, and therefore I am now the woman, and then I come out of that and I am the man. And I was like, as I went on, and especially during lockdown when I didn't have anywhere to perform but I missed putting on makeup, the more I did it, the more I was like, wait, hold on, this is just actually a way of me fulfilling my fantasy completely. Right. Just in the same way that someone wants to go and buy a whole load of rings and jewelry and stuff, it's the same. My boots, my clothes, my hair, my makeup, all of it comes together to create the deity that is Darkwah. And that's so when you say you don't identify as anything, yeah, I go by they, them, but ultimately I just see myself as this free-flowing, non-binary deity that just does whatever it wants, whenever it wants, you know?
Love that. Have you ever, Jonathan, experienced any type of negativity due to not conforming to a specific he, him, she, her? Has anybody ever approached you assuming that you were a girl and then finding out that you were a boy and then taking it badly?
Yeah.
And how do you deal with those situations?
Well, luckily, I the environments that I've always sort of been in, 'cause it's usually at work, is it's fine. Security will deal with stuff, or
Big up Janisha Pem.
yeah, quite the family.
The family.
Yeah.
The plastic boy. Gary, pass the mic over, please. Now, you're somebody who goes by the name of Plastic Boy, and you've had that name as long as I've known you, I think. So,
for years.
Yeah, a good 10 years.
Yeah, definitely a good 10 years. I don't remember my age, really. 10 years, don't. Okay, yeah.
You're somebody who 10 years ago was still. How do you identify?
He, him.
He, him?
Yeah.
But you do play with makeup and visuals.
Yeah.
And you've been doing that for a long time, and you've been doing that before it was popular or cool. What was your experience 10 years ago, being somebody who was overtly playing with makeup, weave? You had some look. You've had some. She's had.
The weave was weaving, but the weave was weaving.
I remember my wig. Do you remember my wig party at the block?
Of course, yeah.
You served some looks.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. But I guess 10 years ago, again, it was so much different, especially the beauty industry as a whole and how we see everyone. I think because when I first moved to London, I was a makeup artist, and I was dabbling in makeup, obviously going to the clubs. People, when they saw you wearing makeup, I think back then they automatically saw you as oh, he's feminine, he's trying to be a woman, he's trying to be this, he's not black enough, he's blah blah this. And I feel people kind of had a stigma against you, or tried to belittle you because you had this kind of feminine energy because you wore makeup. But I think back then it was really hard because I didn't really care, because I think coming from Birmingham, from obviously it's the second biggest town, but obviously it's a small town to me. I just felt people are a bit more accepting here.
Okay.
Back in Birmingham, it was a bit more negative. Like, people would say things or take it the wrong way. But I think now, like, everyone has, like, just gotten into it where they're like, oh my God, beauty. Like, no one really sees anything. Like, I remember, like, 10 years ago, I'd have a full beat on and walk down Oxford Street, and I'd get so much nasty comments where I'd be like, oh my God, like, I'd have, like, this negative energy around me because I thought if someone's going to compliment me, I thought it would be automatically horrible.
Yeah.
But now I could walk around with a full beat and someone, they just don't care because the people are so used to seeing so much other more, like, dramaticness than me in makeup on TV. They're like, wow, who cares?
How about the black community? How have they received you as somebody who wears... Because in our community, men don't wear makeup. We don't do our nails. We don't beat our face.
No.
We've got... Masculine means... masculine.
100%. When you're a black man, you're supposed to be a black man, as they say. And I feel like back then, like, even like, I had some family members that were quite like, not against it, but they kind of like questioned it, being like, oh, why are you wearing makeup? Like, you don't need to do it. Like, but for me, wearing makeup just isn't about like putting on foundation, putting on concealer. I love it because I have a passion for it. And when I put it on, it makes me feel, I don't, it's like a part of my Plastic Boy brand, but it makes me feel amazing. Do you know what I mean? It's not like just covering up like scars and pimples and discoloration. It's like, I love doing it. I generally love waking up at 7 o'clock, beating my face, making beauty videos. It's what I love to do. So when I have like people in the black community come up to me and be like, oh, why are you wearing makeup? Or I don't know, they don't even have to say anything. They'll give you like a certain look. And you know that look? You know,
that auntie look.
Yeah, it's just that look like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? I feel like I can't make those kind of comments like belittle me or make me feel any kind of way, because I have to also think you're born in a different generation. You're born in a different time, so you don't understand what's going on. Do you know what I mean? So I think now, people come to terms with, but being a black man in makeup, it is so hard though, because still to this day, black parents, black men, anyone that expect you to be an alpha male, that expect you to be strong, that expect you to have this...
Wearing makeup and being a black man, what people don't realize, that doesn't make you weak.
Exactly. Listen,
if anything, it makes you tougher.
It does.
It does.
Oh. Share the mic.
It does, you know. I feel like there's definitely this stigma. Especially if you're black and you're doing these things, it's even worse.
Okay,
do you get what I mean? But I think, well, you try being a black boy with 30-inch weave, walking down Tottenham, walking down, and like anywhere. Do you get what I mean? Like most of them man can't do it.
You can't
do you
do
get
that.
me? They can't do it.
That's what I wanted to speak to you about. So, Karnage. First of all, how do you identify?
He, him.
He, him.
Yeah.
And this is what you identify as him, but you... Just to look at,
babe, I don't leave my house without a wig. I
don't think I've in years I haven't seen you without.
It's either braids. It's something. Something's happening. Do you get what I mean? Like I'll never have like gel braids be walking down the road. That's just not me. You know. But I've always identified as he, him.
Do you feel like you're passable as a girl? Because I feel like to look
Personally,
at you,
no.
I think you look like.
I don't think so.
No?
However, I feel like I am when I get guys come up to me on the road trying to hit on me, or like I've never been he, him on the road. Like, it's always ma'am, she, her, the lady, mind the lady. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's always that. So I feel like I actually deep to it, I was like, raw, like, I actually live my life as a woman low key, you know, but that's not my intention.
You just present yourself as you please.
I've always, from when I was younger, I used to look up to my mum. And I just used to think, wow, this woman is just so beautiful. And I used to just want to be like her any chance I could. So I started doing like my eyebrows and stuff like that. And then, you know, little black lip liner, because my mum always used to wear black lip liner back in the day with silver lipstick. But I ain't doing the silver. That's the other thing. But she used to change her wig. She used to have green hair, pink hair, everything. So I really looked up to her and I was like, you know what? This is what I want to look like. But not that I want to be a woman. I just want to look like that. Do you get what I mean?
Do you feel sometimes that people sexualize your identity?
Babe, do you know what? Yeah. Somebody that I know, he is a straight mass guy, right?
Yeah.
And he's probably asked me about 5 different times if I would ever get a sex change. And it's to the point where it's like, I'm actually uncomfortable around him, because it's like, why are you... I don't know, it just almost feels like you're trying to sexualize me.
Yeah.
And that's not my intention. That's not what I'm giving you. So why are you trying to... Yeah.
Some of you have met Grace, right? Yeah. Who's met Grace? My alter ego. Have you never seen Grace Milani Bones?
I can't.
Yeah, she's got a first, middle, and last name. No, I've been doing Grace since I can remember. Since before even Grace became Grace, she had other versions of names. But I feel like people, the first thing they want to ask me is, do you have sex as Grace? And I'm like, no, because Grace is an outlet for me. Like, I'll come home from the club. But back in the day, it wasn't even coming home from the club. I'd come home from school and perform for my friends and dress up in my mum's wigs and her clothes and do my thing. But people always wanted to know, like, oh, have you ever had sex as Grace? And I'm like, no, because
It's just weird to me.
it's not a thing that I'm not doing this to go and catch a man or bag a man. Like, it's just another outlet of my personality that maybe I wouldn't necessarily do just walking down the street. So, and we'll catch up with that later about internalized issues with identity. Shea.
Hi.
In fact, can we use this? Shea versus Omar.
Yeah, so I've always been a super femboy. When I first moved to London 10 years ago, me and Gary was friends on Facebook, and as soon as I moved here, he was the first person to hit me up and was like, let's hang out. So we hung out, and I was like, had super long hair to here. I always had a mustache, but I wore makeup. I was really feminine. And then I'm 31 years old now, 32 this year, and I look cute. And as my career as a boy became bigger, I had to dress a certain way because I approached young people on the street.
Okay.
And in order to get a reaction, and I specifically target might not be the right word, but I focus on scouting. I'm a model scout, so I scout fashion models, and I've always focused on Black, Asian, ethnic minorities. So I can't approach a young Asian or young Black boy dressed like this. One, because I don't feel 100% comfortable, and two, they definitely don't feel comfortable.
Okay.
So a few years ago, in 2017, I separated the two and cut myself down the middle. So I know Darkwah just mentioned that you did it the other way around.
Okay.
Whereas I've done it the opposite way. So now as a day job, I do Omar, and I love to wear tracksuits, and I feel like I'm so masculine.
Yeah.
Like you said about the masculine feminine thing, and I feel like I'm so masculine. So when I'm a boy, I do my masculine thing, and when I'm a girl, I do my feminine thing. So I do he, him as Omar, and she, her as
Right, because we
today.
spoke about this last year on Chit Chat, and you said that, like, you literally said it like, you don't, one name has one pronouns, the other name has the other.
They're the same but completely different. Like if someone referred to me as a he or a him just like this, I'm really pissed off. I think, what part of this looks like a man to you? But anyway, yeah, it's been a journey. I've always been super feminine. Me and Gary started hanging out as soon as I moved to London. We started coming to your clubs. Club night to East Block quite often, trying to get a queue jump. Yeah.
And I was really good for that. You were really good. I was very good for the queue jump, to the point that I wasn't making any money on the door at one point, and the security would be like, if you come up here again, because I'd come up to go for a cigarette, and everybody would be like, Mark! And then I'd be like, okay, come in. I want to talk about the importance of pronouns.
Okay.
And I feel like you're going to have a lot to say on this.
I mean, I have a lot to say on the importance of pronouns. I think, but yeah, no, you ask your question.
So, pronouns, I suppose, for those who don't know, are how you identify yourself when speaking to somebody or speaking to, so either he, him, she, her, they, them.
Yeah.
The use of pronouns has become something that is a more recent development within...
I think, sorry to cut you, but I think the use or the active speaking about the use of pronouns is not necessarily so much as a recent development as much as it is a recent realization that as a society we were projecting our views of people onto them as opposed to letting them exist in the ways in which they actually wanted to. And the more that people like us are like, actually, no, it's they, them, or actually, no, it's she, her when I'm presenting like this. The more that we do that, the more that we give space for other people to also do it.
Okay.
You know, so it's a good thing it's happened. It's a long time coming. But I want to be very careful when we talk about the use of it and the prevalence of it, because it's not something that is necessarily new. It's just a new state of consciousness and mindfulness that we have reached not only within our community but as a society in general. That's what I think that really is to do with.
How do you identify?
I am they, them, 100%. And I can tell you, I know the exact day that I knew that I could only go by they, them from then on. It was August 20th last year. And I was writing a bio for this business that was interviewing me. And every time I wrote he, I felt literally like in my stomach sick. Like it felt really uncomfortable. Like my skin would feel like it was crawling. And I didn't know why. And so I didn't want to send it off, and I was late. I was like late for the deadline because I also like to procrastinate, apparently. And so I then was like, okay, so let's try she. And I did she, and it felt right, but it didn't feel right in the moment because I was like, but I don't know you like that, so you can't call me she.
Okay.
And that's when it clicked. It was like, okay, so you definitely do not identify any longer as male. And I don't think you ever did. But you don't identify as female, and you know that, but you're happy to be referred to in the feminine by those who are close to you because it's no longer threatening and it's not being used in a derogatory way.
When you say that, is that like how there'll be a group of gay boys sitting down and
like,
we'll refer to each other
tripping.
as she?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to be like, don't call me she, don't call me girl, don't call me any of that. Like, I used to be like that. Now, I'm calling my friend she, her, that girl, all that. I don't know. I've adapted to it.
How does that language come into it? Because without even thinking, I will refer to my boyfriends, not my boyfriends, but my friends who are boys, as she. I'm like, oh, here she comes. Or is it innate in us? Is it?
So this is something that I really love talking about. I think, to some extent, as queer people, we sit already on the sidelines, and so when we use he and her in that way and actually use it as gender markers and identifiers, we are very aware that we're playing into the exact boxes that we do not want to be put in. And so when we're talking amongst ourselves, what we tend to do is break all of it. We're like, you know what? We already live a life that these people think is absolute bullshit. They think it's crazy. So fuck it. Can I swear on this?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm going to do the bullshit that I want to do, and I'm going to express myself in the way that I want to express it. And also, there is an aggression about he that is felt, I think by a lot of us, that we don't really address. There is an expectation placed in he that we don't address, which is that you have to take charge. And sometimes we want to be passive.
Okay.
You have to know what to do in all times. And sometimes we actually want to ask for help. And in actually saying she, we allow ourselves to be able to move freely through a range of emotions.
I feel like that comes down to the individual, like knowing that your gender doesn't define you. Do you get what I mean? And you can be, as cliche as it is, you can be whoever you want to be, however you want to be. Me, I see a spider, I scream and I run and I feel no way. Do you get what I mean? But I might put up the shelves or whatever myself. That's seen as like a masculine kind of thing to do. Do you get what I mean? So I think it is just down to not playing by society, because it's all social perception. Do you know what I mean? Exactly. Social perception, that's nothing to me. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me, what anyone has to say about me. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. Yes. Do you know what I mean? And I think once you live like that, it's so freeing. It's just so freeing.
I want to play devil's advocate here now. Because there's certain questions that even for myself, I feel like people need to learn and understand. And obviously with pronouns being introduced, I would say more recently to the mainstream, even if we've been using terms within the community, even within the LGBT community, we're still having to learn new terms. They, them, up until recently, describes plural, multiple people. Like, they went to the shop.
Not always.
Did it not?
Well, no, because, like, say you've got lost property somewhere and you go, whose is that? Or is that theirs? Like, it's not always a plural thing.
But I feel like
it's
society isn't going to think like that. Socially, everyone always knows that they, them is plural.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yes. But that's also because we've been given confines in language, right? So language is also language is another societal structure. It's been formed so that it can uplift some and keep some at bay and keep some out.
Is that what you feel like? That's solely what language is there for?
No, I mean, no, language is for communication. But,
Okay.
But in order to communicate, you're also projecting your views and your thoughts on the world. And the dominant party in the communication is going to be able to dictate what means what. Mm-hmm. And so when we come to say, oh, he did this and this, that, and the other, and we're talking about, oh, they, them now is only this, we have fallen into using language so prescriptively when language can be used in so many different ways. That's why we have poetry. That's why we have songs. That's why we have rap. Because we can say one line and mean a million different things. Nicki Minaj is known for her wordplay. And
So-
do you know what I mean?
So, for instance, your average straight guy who doesn't live within the type of community that we live in. So maybe up until even not that long ago, we were using the T word that we had now. Right?
Yep.
And we had places like, I'm going to say it, Tranny Shack at Madam Jojo's. And transgender people used to refer to themselves as the T word. Now that's a derogatory term and we don't use it anymore. But the community, within our own LGBT community, we've had to catch up on that because we would even use it as a term of endearment. It's no longer a term of endearment.
Yeah.
So when I say this, why I'm asking this question is like the average man walking down the street that has no idea of the rainbow of language that we have and how terms have changed, when they get confused with the terms they, them, do we allow them enough space to have time to catch up?
I think we do, because we also have, listen, if you, as the average straight man walking down the road, knows how many goals Cristiano Ronaldo scored in the last season, or when he's playing next, or when the next, Yeezy drop is happening, you can use Google and fucking find out about pronouns, period. That's it. That's it. That's all.
What do you guys think?
I think.
I think it's. I guess with every straight guy or anyone, it could be a straight woman. You have to allow people to adjust and, as you said, like if they have time to Google, but allow them to absorb the information because not everyone, someone that lives, like in Newcastle or a small town far away, coming to London, they might not know. So I think you have to give people the time to like really learn. And I think everyone's willing to learn, but just give them willing to absorb the information. But again, there's some people that, babe, you know what you're doing.
I feel like there are some people that are deliberately ignorant.
Yes.
But then there's some people who they're trying, but you forget sometimes.
Of course,
and I feel like sometimes I find that within our community at the moment, things are moving so quickly, and we have a lot of expectations on the outside world to be exactly on point of where we are. But sometimes even within the community, we're still not even on top of it. So it's like, how much leeway are we allowed to give and space for people to catch up with language and with what all the different terms now mean?
Do you know what? I feel like there's no point getting angry at somebody for saying the wrong pronouns. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to resolve anything, and it's also probably going to put them off maybe. Like, oh, I'm not really going to mess with them people anymore because this is the reaction that I got. I think I can only talk from my own experience. Any workplace that I've been in to do a 9-to-5 office job, it's always she, her, and I'll say, no, he, oh, she. No, he, oh, she. And it's to the point where it's like, okay, you're trying to get slapped. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, I give maybe 3-4 different times. If next week you're still calling me she, then we got a problem. So I think definitely give people leeway.
I've seen situations where maybe somebody's gone up to somebody maybe in public and misgendered somebody, but not knowing. And then they get accused of misgendering. And then
A good question is, how do you identify? I love when someone asks me, how do you identify?
Exactly. Don't talk to me about the weather anymore. Yeah. Don't talk to me about the weather. Don't say, oh, how's the weather? How's this? Hey, how are you? You look really lovely. I'm sorry, how do you identify? Done.
Is this something that you think is important that now needs to slip it into like everyday kind of introductory language? Yeah.
Because in the same way that as black people, because we were having this conversation about blackness and, oh, where are you from? No, where are you really from?
Okay.
Just in the same way that we've moved away from that, we have to be able to teach people. Well, no, not teach, because the onus is not always on us to do the teaching. But we have to be able to go into a situation and be like, okay, well, this is what it is. I lead by example. So even if I know you are straighter than straight, and you are running after every woman with a pulse down the road, I will still ask you how you identify. Why? Because I want you to ask me how I identify.
Okay, so it's like a subliminal.
Yeah, exactly. You teach people also by experiences. We learn from experiences. We have a lot of emotional intelligence. So I'm not gonna be here being like, hey, by the way, my pronouns are they, them, straight away, because we are bombarded with so much information that we switch off when we are given information. When we learn the information by experience, that's when it's absorbed.
Lovely. Chantel,
Wow, mic drop.
can you hear me? We're going to go for a quick musical break. I asked all of the guests on the sofa to send me in their 5 top tracks of what makes them feel their fabulous selves, or just really gets them into the groove. So we're going to start off with, Shea, you've been quiet.
Have I?
You've been quiet, girl.
Have I?
So if you head over to the Pride Special Folder 2, which one of your tracks are we going to start off with? Mike.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to remember the track. We can start with Little Kim.
What Little Kim was it again?
I can't remember.
I think it was this much.
Really?
How many licks?
I think it was How Many Licks. 2 of you had How Many Licks. Right.
She's a dirty bitch, so she'll have the same songs as me.
We're going to play Little Kim to How Many Licks. Reset the room. We'll be right back in about 5 or 10 minutes. Over to Chantel.
I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of faces. Oh hell, I even fuck with different races. A white dude, his name was John. He had a Queen Bee Rules tattoo on his arm. He asked me if I'd be his day for the prom, and he'd buy me a horse, a Porsche, and a farm. Damn a nigga from down south used to like me to spank him and come in his mouth. And Thorny, he was Italian. He didn't give a fuck, that's what I liked about him. He ate my pussy from dark to the morning. Called this girl up and told her we was boning. Puerto Rican Papi used to be a deacon, but now he be sucking me off on the weekend. And this black dude I call King Kong, he had a big ass dick and a hurricane tongue.
How many licks does it take till you get to the center of the? I got to know. How many licks does it take till you get to the center of the? Tell me. How many licks does it take till you get to the center of the? How many licks does it take till you get to the center of the?
This verse goes out to my niggas in jail, beating they dicks to the double XL magazine. You like how I look in the aqua green? Get your Vaseline, roll some weed with some tissue and close your eyes, and imagine your tongue in between my thighs. Yo, open up, cell block 8. All right, that's enough. Stop, look, and listen. Get back to your position. Kim got your dick hard, start fights in the yard. Hotter than a Pop-Tart, fresh out of the toaster. Niggas do anything for a little Kim poster. Essays, Bloods, Crips, all the thugs up north in the hole. They all wanna know.
How many licks does it take till you get to the center of the? Tell me. How many licks does it take till you get to the center of the? Tell me. How many licks does it take till you get to the center of the? How many licks does it take till you get to the center of the?
Driving in the street, hold on to your seat. Niggas, rich nigga, 8-figure, that's my type. That's my type, nigga, that's my type. 8-inch bagel, that's the pipe. That bitch, I'ma ride a dick all night. A rich nigga, 8-figure, that's my type. That's my type, nigga, that's my type. 8-inch bagel, that's the pipe. That's my type, nigga, that's my type. New wrist, new whip, right around dipped. I can see why all these basic hoes pissed. Bust down wrist, not a bust down bitch. Said I want your man, no the fuck I don't fit. See a rich nigga, why you still hitting licks? Nigga spinning bread, but he still can't hit. Bitch, please. Lamborghini keys, pussy dripping ice, he get flown out to me. Bitch, please. I want a man with the beans, pussy from the bag on dumb on a D. See on my lips, take a little sip, privacy on the door, I'ma make the shit grip. A rich nigga, 8-figure, that's my type. That's my type, nigga, that's my type. 8-inch bagel, that's the pipe. That bitch, I'ma ride a dick all night. A rich nigga, 8-figure, that's my type. That's my type, nigga, that's my type. 8-inch bagel, that's the pipe. That's my type, nigga, that's my type.
That's my way. Do it like
like phones. You know I hate it when I'm left on red. But he make it all up in the bed. And it take me out dining on none but the best. He got off-white, on right. Damn, he could dress. Making plans from the east. Making bands in the west. Rockstar, black beetle type. Bands on his bread. And baby, I want it. And I just be honest. Cause I just can't front when I look at you. Just keep it 100 when I throw these hundreds. I hope that your ass gon' know what to do.
That's my way. Do it like that and I repeat. Don't be scared, I ain't afraid. Just like that, come my way. That's my shit, that's my way. Do it like that and I repeat. Don't be scared, I ain't afraid. Just like that, come my way.
Gucci Eldorado, we in Rome, I'm a model. Gucci Man and Doja Cat, call me El Gato. I'm the big boss and I got big bread. I'm getting big-headed and I like good head. I'm not cheap, baby, and I'm sure not selfish. Shaking like Elvis, down that broke my pelvis. Jumping off the top rope, got them tag teaming. Putting on the show, I got the whole crowd screaming. Bougie with the bread, I'm like a top-notch freak. Act like I'm a treat when a dog see me. Like a thief in the night, it like she stole my green. Got me walking off the scene like a hole in my jeans.
That's my shit, that's my way. Do it like that and I repeat. Don't be scared, I ain't afraid. Just like that, come my way. That's my shit, that's my way. Do it like that and I repeat. Don't be scared, I ain't afraid. Just like that, come my way.
To the M-A.D, cat like a semi. Nigga stole my car, won't you get mine? Give your ass a black eye. Oh, say bye-bye. I'ma give your body to the sky. Run through your clip. Nigga, you pissed, don't trip. I'ma have to bust you in your lips. And the whips, better have a whole lot of chips. Cause I ain't for no nigga giving tips. She's a bitch. When you say my name, talk more jump, but won't look my way. She's a bitch. See, I got more cheese. So back on up while I roll up my sleeve. She's a bitch. You can't see me, Joe. Get on down while I shoot my flow. She's a bitch. When I do my thing, got the place on fire, burn it down the flame. Roll up in my car, don't stop, won't stop. I'ma keep it rocking till the clock don't top. I'ma keep it hot, let my ass on fire. I'ma grab a Philly, go and roll it at the bar. What you talk, what you say, huh? Gotta flow, gotta move it slow, huh? Better you running out the door, huh? You gon' be a long lost soul, what you say? Yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yi-yay. Put me on stage, watching niggas feel me. Put my shit on wax, watch it blaze like me. Go yippee-yi-yo, yippee-yi-yi-yay. 55, 65, height, 75, 85, touch the mic. 95, miss it wild for the night. 105, I'ma keep the crowd hype. She's a bitch when they say my name. Talk more jump, but won't look my way. She's a bitch. See, I got more cheese. Back on up while I roll up my sleeves. She's a What you know about Timothy, let me know. Eat an MC like C's, let me know. If you get drunk, lean on me, let me know. I'm about to bust like P, feel me now. Anybody know my skills, what the deal? Anybody feel my skills is the real? Anybody wanna come fuck with the steel? Anybody gotta get the whole body pill? She's a bitch when they say my name. Talk more jump, but won't look my way. She's a bitch, see I got more cheese. Back on up while I roll up my sleeve. She's a bitch, you can't see me, Joe. Get on down while I shoot my flow. She's a bitch. When I do my thing, got the place on fire, burn it down the flame.
My mouth, it can't slip. My face, it and the yes, I'm now boy right it. You wanna leave my name, girl, I speak. From man, the clear the grow. Bad man, good I never go low. Tell them I talk to you like this, you a show. Gonna tell you a story, just this way, you know. I was a night, me a sneaky feed. Hey, Rufus, don't rush me. Keisha, the man well want it. She promised me I gonna need it. Guess what? I'm a SpongeBob thing. I'm a Scooby-Doo thing. Check up your is a Pikachu thing. Hey, girl, don't play, make your ball and sing. Guess what? Yes, in my mouth, it can't slip. Yes, in my face, it and yes, in no boy ride it. Give a lolly money. Girl, I speak. From man, they clear the grow. Lolly could never go low. Talk them a talk, girl, like this you a show. Just broke your butt and touch your toe. Bad man, tipping a hit. Lolly, tipping a hit. Jump the man, them a tipping a hit. Broke your back and move your hip. That's what Lolly, tipping a hit. Pottersking, tipping a hit. Ireland, tipping a hit. Girl, broke your back and move your hip. That's what my mouth, it can't slip. My face, it and yes, no boy ride it. You wanna leave my name, girl, I speak. From man, look at her grow.
We are live back on Threads Radio. It's M-A.D. Ting. My name is Mark Ashley Dupé, and right now I'm joined by Carter, the Bandit. Hello, Carter.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
So I've known Carter for a few years. So I feel like I first met you as a dancer,
Yeah.
and you're kind of like viral. The people that know you,
Yeah.
because yet again, today's whole theme is about masculinity and toxic masculinity, and there's a lot of that within the black community. I feel like your music and your dance definitely gives a big FU
Yeah.
to that. What's your journey been like, going from like dancer
To music.
into music?
So I started dancing, well, basically twerking and doing dancehall probably 5-6 years ago now. And like I was sitting one day with my friends, and we was just like, okay, cool, like let's make a dance group name. We was gonna call it the Bandits.
The
So then,
Bandits.
yeah, I basically came up with Carter the Bandit. I don't know where it came from, but I was just like, oh, like Carter, cool. So then went with that, and then I just started like dancing, twerking, tagging artists in America and stuff like that. And then from there, it just started going crazy.
Twerking as a man.
Yeah.
What type of reaction do you get to that?
At first, I kind of got a bit of like side eyes and stuff on Insta, but the comments wasn't actually that as bad as I thought they was gonna be. But I feel like it's probably more because they saw artists replying and stuff, so it was like, okay, cool, well, he's doing his thing. But I've never really had no bad comments too tough, you know, surprisingly.
When did you then transition from dance into music?
So in 2019 March, I literally started writing. I was sitting in my friend's bedroom, and I was like, maybe I can just write a little rap or something. Wrote it, done a freestyle, put it on Insta, and then I started getting bare responses. So I was just like, okay, cool, I'm gonna keep going with this. So since 2019.
That's not that long.
No.
And then you just started writing, penning tracks.
Yep. Literally.
Who are your musical inspirations?
My musical inspirations are Miss Banks, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, a couple other female rappers. But
Do you feel like being Nicki Minaj fans helps you with your flow? Because I feel like all the barbs can rap.
Yeah.
Every barb can rap.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, look, really, like, I'm like, every barb could have a rapping career.
Definitely.
So when did your first official track come out?
So my first official track came out this year, last year, February.
Yeah?
No, sorry, this year, February. I'm chatting. Sorry, it was this year, February. Yeah, literally. This year, February, it came out. I dropped Big Bandit on all platforms with an official video. And yeah.
Do you find writing and rapping therapeutic?
Yeah, I find it very it's just something that I do by myself. Like if I'm in my house, people are like, oh, you're always in your house. Oh, I'm writing, literally writing. If I'm not at home, then I'm in the studio. And then recently I've been doing artist development. So then now I've just everything's just kind of taken a whole different turn in. So then now, I'm back.
And when it comes to the content of what you're writing about,
Yeah.
I feel like there was a time when there was obviously a lot of queer artists who were still writing from a heterosexual point of view.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
No. So basically, I think when I first started writing, I was thinking, maybe I could write like that. Because I don't want to have to feel like I'm fronting or changing myself up for people, because it's never been that way for me. So with writing, everything that I live, I'm generally rapping it. So when it comes to money, when it comes to dancing, changing stuff like this in general, yeah.
Are you happy to be labelled as a queer black rapper, or do you just want to be a rapper?
No, everyone I approach, I'm like, yeah, I'm a gay rapper.
Okay.
I'm a gay rapper. I don't want to be.
Wave that flag.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, well, Carter's going to give us one of two special performances. So this one's called
On Your Block.
On Your Block. Is this out yet?
This ain't out yet, but the video has gone viral at the moment.
Is this the one, the latest one?
Yeah.
With you in the white vest with the two other boys. It's a cute video. Right, this is Carter the Bandit with On Your Block.
Yeah.
Here we go. Take it away.
Oh no, just the wrong one. Oh. On Your Block. Oh yeah.
Two Future Anthem beats.
Look. I got the ooh, you got the coupe. Pull up and zoom, sipping that juice. These niggas are loose. When I talk, it's a move. I'm a boss. Tell these man to get lost. I'm sitting pretty at the top. I'm pressing buttons cause I'm hot. 2021, I'm about to drop. Catch that drop. Swing your hips and make what? Baddest be on your block. So stop riding round with those ops. We got the Hennessy, it's all shots. Sipping that AU, it's a lot. I got that big smoke, call me Ben 10. I'm the hardest kid on your block. Big driller. I'm bad like MJ said thriller. I need more stacks to make my raps bigger. So no broke boys, the queen of South scripture. Look, my sexual mentality killing them. Face on fleek, melanin mixed up with guarded the tea got them panicking. These niggas they swear that they're playing their cards, but if you don't know, Miss Banks is a boss. Miss Life and Milk got these niggas real mad. Blazing baddie, yeah. Tell these rap niggas I'm chasing my checks. Got Simwell with me and she's breaking their necks. These niggas just lying, their dick that's the flex. I think it's this time that I show you I'm next. Stop all the talking, big B, all my niggas stay barking. Pen game so suave, I just sparked it. Came through, but I'm just getting started. New lane on my own, I got targets. Took a break, now I'm back on the market. Bad B, hella sweet, I'm a starlet. Look how I market. Catch that drop. Swing your hips and make what? Baddest be on your block. So stop riding round with those ops. We got the Hennessy, it's all shots. Sipping that AU, it's a lot. I got that big smoke, call me Ben 10. I'm the hardest kid on your block.
Future Anthem beats.
Bandit.
Thank you.
Do you know what, yeah? Like, I'm always impressed by people who can just spit bars. Because I will literally just get tongue twisted.
Thank you.
Right, we're going to be getting more from Carter later on in the show. But for now, make some more noise for Carter,
Thank you.
please. I'm going to start back off with you, Karnage. You are a queer rapper.
Yes.
Talk to me about breaking into the music industry as somebody who identifies as a boy, presents as a femme, and rap is gangster and about life, but it's also very homophobic and doesn't really allow space for somebody who presents the way that you do. So how have you managed to kick those doors down?
Do you know, it's so funny. Like, I've just continued to be authentic to myself. I've just always done what I wanted to do and rapped about what I wanted to rap about. And it's so true that when you put yourself out there, the right people gravitate towards you. I feel like all the opportunities that I've gotten from doing music, the majority have been people coming to me and finding me and discovering me and wanting to give me a platform to have a voice, you know? So I just think it's about being persistent and consistent as well.
And consistent.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started, when you decided, like, I'm gonna... In fact, I've got two questions for you. How old were you when you decided to stop conforming as, like, dressing like what a boy should look like?
My mum used to dress me for like the longest time, to be honest. And I think until we was like, what, 10, 11?
Yeah.
And I think after she stopped dressing me, I just kind of gravitated towards tighter clothes. When I got older, I just wanted my hair longer, so we stopped doing extensions. And the extensions just got longer. I followed my mum nail shop and I'd get my eyebrows tinted, and then I started penciling them, then a bit of concealer. Then it just kind of like goes from there. Do you get what I mean? And then, you know, before I knew it, I was this. And
So what, by the end of secondary school, was you already...
No, I had waited until... By the end of secondary school, I had long hair. And my clothes were like slim fitting. That was about it. And then once I left and was in college, that's when I really started to develop my style, because my first day of college, I remember I had fishtail braids? Fishbone braids, and I think I was wearing like a semi-crop top, belly top, and then my tight jeans, and I went in there and I was out. Everyone knew I was gay, and yeah.
So at what age did you start
I'd say
in music?
16, 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever used to write from a straight...
Never. No. If I did it, I never mentioned women. I never mentioned she, females, anything like that. So if I was rapping from a straight perspective, it would have only been like anything but sex. Does that make sense?
Okay. And listen, Karnage's lyrics...
It's all about sex, mainly.
I'm like pearl clutching. I'm just like, wow, but you know what? Like, I really respect it because yet again, like, I feel like within rap, you're allowed to talk about bitches and hoes and. Do you get what I mean?
They do it all the time.
But then women aren't allowed to talk about wanting to whatever sexual desires they have. Like, look at the controversy from WAP last year. Like,
but I still feel like they're given the platform and the voice to be able to say those things. Whereas as a gay rapper, no one don't want to hear about two men having sex.
Okay.
Do you get what I mean? And I feel like that is the problem because straight rappers do it all the time. Female rappers do it all the time. Why can gay men not talk their shit too? You know?
Here. What do you feel about Lil Nas then and that whole controversy a couple of months ago with Call Me By Your Name?
I think that as creatives, you're gonna create what you want to create, and people are not always gonna understand your vision, right? But what the amazing thing about Lil Nas X is he has a platform to be able to tell those stories in the way that he wants to tell them, and it's going to change the industry whether people like it or not. You know, even like me coming out and doing music, when I came out, there was nobody doing it in the UK. Do you know what I mean?
Who are the UK queer rappers?
Me, my friend James, Carter, I know Keenan, Mr. Strange, Tash, T Breezy. You know, there's a lot of girls coming up.
But do you feel like do you feel like Lil Nas kind of like lifted the lid on everything now? So he's taking it to the extreme. So now it should be easier for young black queer rappers to come through.
This is the UK though. This is the UK, and I feel like in the UK, people are a bit more backwards than in America. I hate to say, but it's just the truth.
Okay.
You know, and that's why I feel like I was talking to my friend the other day about it. I want, because I'm going to do a house party for all the gay rappers. I ain't really told anybody, but that's what I'm going to do. Because I just want... When you see the UK and you see gay rappers from the UK, everyone knows each other and we're all tight and friendly with each other. Do you get what I mean? There ain't nothing. Because I even feel like in America, even though there are more gay rappers, it's still a bit scattered. Do you get what I mean? Whereas here, I feel like we're able to be closer to each other, to be connected.
Okay.
You know, everyone was down at Soho the other day and I wasn't there. I was getting FOMO bad. But
Was that when there was like a full-on rave going on in
everyone
Soho
was down
Square?
there. Everybody was there.
The sun is shining. Jonathan, I want to speak to you. Let me just grab this mic. Miss Jonathan. So you were saying earlier that you don't identify as he, him, she, her, or they, them.
Yeah.
You're just your own special... How do you navigate then through... How do you find navigating through life? Like, have you always felt like that from a little age? What's your journey with...
Yeah, it's just never really been like an issue for me. And like Darkwah was saying, like the times I struggle with it is like writing bios or writing about myself. It's like speaking to people, it doesn't faze me at all. But as soon as it's in writing, it becomes like, oh, I have to make a choice about this. And that's the thing that I don't like, that it limits.
It limits you.
Yeah.
What would you use in those situations?
I've literally done sentences where one is he, one is she, one is they, and it just swaps between each one.
Make your mind up as you go along.
Yeah.
When you dress, how do you feel? How do you dress more feminine? Do you dress more masculine?
I mean, I'm quite tiny anyway, so like I can't really wear boys' clothes. Only women's clothes fit me. But like I don't really wear like dresses or skirts or like traditionally like seen as feminine clothes.
Okay.
But I'll do like a big fancy shirt or a jumpsuit. Or like,
we love a jumpsuit.
Yeah, I love a jumpsuit.
I've met your mum.
You have. She always asks after you.
And your mum's one that like, she's just a lovely, lovely lady. Like, do you know what I mean? And you'll bring her to like Circa Bar. She'll be there with all the gays. Growing up, will you give them the freedom to express yourself however you wanted to?
Like at home, I was.
Yeah.
I come from like a church family. My dad's ordained, and so sort of like outside of home, it was always like if I painted my nails, like it would have to be taken off before
you left the house
anywhere.
Okay.
But at home, it was fine. So I always had that like support there.
Did you get bullied at school or?
Sort of like. Again, just being like very small. I was like always the weedy kid. So it was more that than anything else.
Not to do with how you presented.
No, not really, no.
So you've just always basically just been free to just be you.
Yeah, tried.
I love that. Omar, Oh, sorry. Shea.
It's fine, man.
Growing up in Leeds,
Awful.
which is complete, like, I suppose growing up in London. Where did you grow up, Jonathan? Sorry.
Hampton, South West London.
Yeah, so growing up in London, I suppose we're used to seeing different types of people a lot more, whether it's race, size, colour, identity. But I feel like, where did you grow up in Leeds?
I grew up in Leeds in a mixed area. Both of my parents are mixed race, so one of them's half Pakistani and half Irish, and the other one is half Pakistani and half English. So that's always been two different pulls, because my white grandma on his side converted to Islam, so he's gone up Pakistani, and my mum's gone up white.
Okay.
And I grew up, I remember being little, like, and hanging out. I always hung out with girls. I love women. I think they're the superior gender. I'm obsessed with women. I'm a bit of a man-hater in a sense. I am. I really am. Like, when it comes to when you said writing bios and stuff, I always think, oh, I want to date, and I can't. And I go on dating apps, and it's so hard. It's like, well, what pictures do I pick? Because do I pick my boy pictures, or do I pick my girl pictures, or do I pick both? Or it's so difficult. Wait, what was the question? It's high school.
How was growing up in Leeds for you?
It was really horrible. I've come from a mixed area, but my parents sent me to a white area to go to school because I thought I'd get a better education. So I was one of 3 non-white people. I had a really horrible hard time. My sister was rough, so everyone goes, you should have been the girl and she should have been the boy, because she used to fight. And I was always really soft and nervous and quiet. And as I got older, and I guess around college started coming into myself, became loud. But I had a really horrible time, and I think that is one of the main reasons why I find group of white men really scary. You know how, like, there's memes and stuff, and a lot of it is like when, like, big ethnic groups come together in the media, and, like, white people get nervous. I'm the exact opposite. And it's even when it comes to dating, I won't date a white male because I think they're so scary. So it's left like a proper damage.
So you've been traumatised growing up in Leeds?
Massively. And growing up with all white people, now when I look at my friends, I think I have maybe 1 or 2 white friends that are close.
But you're half white, technically.
Yeah, and I don't identify. And when someone asks me where I'm from, I say I'm Pakistani.
Okay.
And that's why when I picked my girl name, it was really important for me to pick an Asian name. So, because I look like a boy, I like Mowgli as a boy. So I picked Shea Khan, like the tiger, because I want to be like sassy, feline, sexy, even though that Shea Khan in the Jungle Book is a male.
Yeah.
I named myself Shea Khan because it was important for me to have a Indian Pakistani surname.
Within the Asian community, what is their response to being a femme?
Do you know what's really annoying? I only have one Pakistani friend who's heterosexual female. When you're Pakistani, you split from the community. So the men don't want to hang out with you because it's haram. So they don't want to hang out with you. And then the women can't hang around with you because the women are at home. They can't hang out with boys. So I couldn't hang around with anyone from my community. And then when you're half as well, it's like my family's like.
So you're scared of the white men?
Yeah.
The Asian.
I'm not allowed to hang out
with the Asian.
No.
Yeah. So is that why you ended up coming to London?
A massive part, yeah. And I guess I started, more on the sort of black scene. I guess going to the bashment raves. I loved bashment growing up, so I used to go to those sort of raves. And most of my friends now are mixed, and I guess most of them are from black families or mixed black families.
There's obviously the black community kind of tends to be labelled as being kind of closed-minded, homophobic. But then I feel like there's a part of our community that seems to be where it's like a womb or a cradle for lost souls. And we seem to be able to open up the doors.
But I feel like as black people sometimes... I feel like as black people sometimes we do contradict ourselves in that sense. Do you get what I mean? Because there is a whole side which is embracive and taking people as they are. You know, when it comes to even my grandmother, let's say, there's so many people, my great grandma actually, there's so many people come through our house if they're hungry and whatever, and she'll feed them and whatever, no matter what they look like. But then you got some black families, which I feel like we're made to feel like is the majority, that attack us or outcast us for being gay or different or whatever. You know.
I would like to speak to that just a little bit, because I feel that as minority communities, when I say minority, I just mean like in, you know, on this island that we call a country. As minority communities, we operate out of, a lot of the time, especially our parents and their parents, operated out of a survival mode.
Okay.
So they want you to survive, right? We no longer want that for ourselves. We don't just want to survive. We want to be able to thrive.
We wanna
And in
live.
order to thrive, we have to show every range and every bit on the spectrum of how it is that we can exist. Our nature is naturally to take people in. Our culture is such that, you know, if someone is hungry, whether it's an Arab culture or South Asian culture or East Asian culture or a black culture, someone is hungry and you know them, or someone is struggling and you know
feeding
them.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest, there's always more food made just in case somebody might turn up.
Exactly that part. Exactly that part. And what we are undoing, because as we know, trauma can be passed down. Like actually it can be passed down like
Through
in
the
your
essence.
genes,
Yeah, in your genes, yeah.
in your being. So we are unpicking the trauma of needing to survive and keep our head below the parapet right now. That's what we're doing. That's why we can exist in the multitude of ways that we do.
Yeah.
So I think that the contradiction is our nature, our true nature, coming out versus the brutal nurture of what was slavery, of what has been oppression, segregation, racism. We're unpicking all of that now.
Because I feel like the community, if you look back at like African culture pre-slavery, it's very flamboyant. It's very colourful. It's very especially the men as well.
Yeah.
Like, we express ourselves in many what would now be seen as feminine or camp ways, but I don't feel like those words would have been used back then.
They wouldn't have been used then. Listen, you would have been you're a sapeur of is it Ivory Coast, who you dress really dapper, but you're in a flare, which is a slightly feminine shape, and you're in beautiful colors and beautiful materials that are silks and satins and laces, which are again all typically feminine. Now, if we want to go even further back, you have in Nigeria, I think it's I'm not sure which tribe it is, but you have female husbandry, whereby the oldest daughter, if there are no boys in the family, will stay back and learn the family trade and carry on the family name.
Yeah.
You have in this also happens in South Africa. This also happens in Ghana. And there were so many seers or mystics who did not live in any binary form, because when you don't live in the binary, you've transcended to the spiritual plane. You are open to receiving people's energies, right?
In Asia, is it in Pakistan? I'm sure it's Pakistan if I've got my notes right. Isn't there 5 genders? There was?
I don't think it's in Pakistan, but there is like 5 genders, yeah.
And I've seen a documentary where boys who lived between between male and female were actually, they kind of worshipped or seen as... Did we have a conversation?
I think it's like native Indians.
No.
That originally
We had a conversation last...
I'm going to Google it right now.
I'm sure it's native
Google
Indians.
is your friend. I want to go back to you for a second. Last year we spoke and you said that maybe if times were different, you might have transitioned early.
I'm like, in regards to gender, I find it so confusing. I've always just been me, as Jonathan said. I've always been super femme. I would prefer to be the more feminine side than the masculine, just because one of my fears in life is growing up to be a middle-aged male. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do when I start looking old. Like, I don't want to be an old man. That's petrifying to me, right?
Yes.
That's so
when I'm wearing wigs, when I'm really old.
No.
The hairline just hates me. This is the thing I do care about being a man. Like, the hairline is not forgiving.
But I'm sure you can sit the lace wherever you want it, no matter what.
But now it's fine. Like, my hairline's intact, but I'm just thinking, like, what if my hair starts falling out? God forbid.
Yeah, that is a fear. So when all this sort of language came about and everyone could like attach some language onto them to make them feel, I guess, comfortable, and everyone else being like, you know, I'm here and this is what I am, get to know because I'm here to stay. Everyone sort of threw words at me and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I got a call from my friend, Josh, and he was like, you're gender fluid. And I'm like, what's that? And then they told me, and then I've done interviews and stuff where people have been like, oh, what do you identify as? And I'm like, oh, I'm gender fluid. But now looking back on it, I'm like, well, I am trans, but then I am gender fluid, but then I am non-binary, but I'm bits of them, but I'm none of them, and it's really confusing when I try to put myself somewhere.
Can you be trans without being?
Yes.
Yeah, a transsexual.
Sorry, you can be trans without having to transition or needing to transition because that's binary transness.
Okay.
So me flowing through between masculine and feminine, some people would describe me as non-binary trans femme, right? So I transcend I cross the lines of the binaries, and I can go into my feminist to the point that I will cinch, I will wear a breastplate, I will put on a wig, and I will go down the road and I will give you Naomi, and then I will come home and I will give you Marlon Wayans, you know, and it's really like that. So transness, again, this is another thing that we have to, the reason that conversations like this are so important is because we have to understand that transness is not binary transness.
Okay.
You don't have to be, I'm trans and therefore I have to have a gender confirming, gender affirmation surgery or confirmation surgery. No, that is not, it's not necessary. Transness.
It's down to the individual now.
Exactly. Just like blackness is down to however you have been raised and whatever. Like, there are so many different nuances of blackness.
Well, I don't know about that because Rachel Dolezal will never be a part of.
Listen, she is not black. She is not.
And that's another actual conversation I do want to have.
Oh, we can't do it. Not today. Not that one.
To play, if we can transition gender, like, can we transition racially?
No.
Okay. That's another conversation.
That's it. No.
Do you know when it comes to terms like transvestite, are we allowed to use those words? Are we allowed to use?
I've never used those
Or,
words.
you know, like online. So just say on Grindr or whatever those apps are. You be like, you see CD /TV.
Well, I was going to say, like, we were talking about Wednesday nights and Tranny Shack and the nights that used to happen. Yeah, it is antiquated, but it's also, like, the word transvestite, the way that I understand it, is that it's a sexual fetish. It's not your identity. It's for sexual pleasure.
What is a transvestite?
Someone who wears traditionally women's clothing for a sexual thrill.
Okay. So do you remember Jordan's ex-husband, Alex?
Oh, the cage fighter.
The cage fighter. He was a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between cross-dressing and being a transvestite?
Okay, cross-dressing, being a transvestite, I don't know. I can't speak too much to that, but I don't know. I couldn't say. I honestly couldn't because I don't know too much about it. But what I will say is when we just said transvestite and we said traditionally we'll wear women's clothing, why are we centering everything around fucking men?
Okay, because women can be transvestites.
Exactly. And you see now, as soon as then you take it to women being transvestites, no, it's no longer transvestites. It's just
not.
wearing whatever clothing that you want because no gender is lesser. When you say transvestite, you're saying that the superior gender of male is doing something to become the other.
Okay.
And I don't like that. I don't ever want to center the male experience, period.
There's also, like, looking at that, saying, like, we just wouldn't see women in a sexual way wearing men's clothing. Like, it wouldn't be sexualized. It would just be women wearing clothing. It's not recognizing that women can be sexual.
I mean, tea was spilled.
No, it's true because I feel like there's still a lot of terms that get thrown around that I'm just like, where do they lay in 2021? Like, are we allowed to use them?
I just think don't even, like, it's just tiring. Am I allowed to say that? I'm tired. Like, am I allowed to say that? Because it's just all these different categories. And I feel like when it comes to sexuality and stuff like that anyway, I feel like, in my opinion, these were things that were created by us socially in order to put people in boxes. You know, really, to me, it's fake. You know, you can be, in my own world, people just are who they are. You take them how you want to take them. These words, personally, like, I don't even like to say it, so I'm not even going to say it. These T words, I personally just feel like they are they never sat right with me. They never sounded right to me. They never felt right saying it. And that's me as a gay man, you know, addressing people in my own community. So do I feel like straight people should be allowed to say these things? No.
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 What about us in the community? Can we say them?
I don't think we should, because I feel like it's... Yeah, and it's like we can't say that we don't want straight people to use these words. It's okay, but then people could say that about me being a rapper using the N-word and not wanting white people to say the N-word.
Yeah.
I just feel like it just makes my head hurt. But personally, I choose not to use those words. And I feel like if you're a decent person, you wouldn't use them. You wouldn't use those.
Within the LGBT community, I feel like we fight to come out of these boxes or a heteronormative world. We get this freedom, and as soon as we get it, we then live a life of labels.
But that's exactly why the people that live life without labels get no dick.
Right, and this is right. So you've just given the perfect segue to my next question. Dating.
Fuck dating.
As boys who are dating as boys who, or sorry, not boys, as people who don't conform to specific gender roles or whatever. Do you find that the LGBT community sometimes keep you more trapped than what even the
Yes.
Because I feel like sometimes, especially gay men, especially sometimes white gay men, can be a lot more judgmental than even a white or any type of straight man.
Yeah.
And you see it on things like Grindr or sometimes they're even brazen enough to not even say it. Like, they will say it to your face, basically. There's an energy, there's an atmosphere. Do you struggle to date?
Yes.
I'm gonna hear from, let's start from Gary, because Gary's been quiet.
Yeah, I think.
But Gary does story time, so we know that sometimes you ain't struggling. But yeah, let's talk.
No, it's not the fan. I definitely think it is hard to date because, as you said, when you're on these apps and stuff, people are gonna put you into a certain box. Like, as you're saying, you know, when you're on dating apps, what pictures do I put a picture of me in a full beat? Do I put a picture of me looking natural, whatever? Like, it's just like, which one do you choose? Because whatever one you put out there, you're gonna get judged anyway. First of all, you're gonna get judged for your skin color. Second of all, you're gonna get judged if you're wearing beauty or makeup. And third of all, you're just gonna get judged if you don't look masculine anyway. So it's like, which one? There's just too many battles. And as you said, Mark, before you've even said anything, there is this kind of energy, or people just say it straight up to you like, oh, you're not masculine enough, sir, or sometimes, or you're black, or, you know, you look too fair, and people judge you by a picture without even speaking to you. And there's been times where I've spoken to someone and they've been like, oh no, you're giving up this femme energy. Then when you actually speak to them, they've been like, oh my god, like, I feel like, because when you talk to someone on an app, it's all words. You can't react to someone through words, but when you talk to them
and you
like,
hear,
you know what I mean? You hear them, and like, you might know, you might connect with them in a different way. You like with someone else that you might think, oh, is my potential. So I definitely think it's hard to date because people are judging you just by your picture straight away. I know we love to say, oh, we love people by personality and blah blah. People are judging you by the way you look, especially in the gay world.
And the gay world is very judgmental. It's so judgmental. If somebody appears feminine, mask presenting gay, will already rule them out as it's misogyny. But then, right, so femme tops is basically what I wanna. It's kind of what I want to talk about, because it's kind of like, how can you be a feminine gay but still want to top?
I think most femme boys are now tops, and the big beefy muscle boys are bottoms.
It's so true. It's so true. But I've always said though, in the bedroom, it doesn't even matter. Like we're both even naked and laying down. What's that got to do with anything? But I guess when people look at someone like by their appearance, they think it matters in the bedroom, and those don't correlate. Do you know what I mean? The math ain't mathing.
This idea of gender roles, it's the idea of gender roles that one's got to be like in charge and the other one's got to be submissive. It's like you're just having sex.
It's
like,
even
just
when,
have.
You know,
sex,
people
like, do what you want to do.
When people see the relationship, they'll be like, "Oh, who's the man? Who's the woman?" You know, like some backwards people. It's like, babes, we're in 2021. Who even asked that?
I think like I've always made sure, even though I'm the femme one for the most part and may play the female role, I always wear the trousers. I'm always the dominant one. You know, I always say where we're doing what we're doing. And if you don't like that, we can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think within the gay community, we struggle with that because remember, you can be in a heteronormative situation, like a straight relationship. You can be the woman. A lot of the times wears the trousers, no matter how big and beefy her husband or her
and
partner,
that's the energy that I was always
her partner
coming into
is.
dating with. That's the energy.
Going back to boys who wear makeup. Again, you don't have to be a femboy to wear makeup. In the makeup world, have you noticed the difference or the growth in how are there more boys now who are just naturally just wearing makeup, even as part of like their everyday boy wear?
Oh my God, you're 100%. I remember like going out 10 years ago, you'd never see a lot of guys wearing makeup. It just was, if they weren't really admitting it. They were like, you know, put a bit of concealer. But now, and when I was out in Seoul a few weeks ago, I was just, you know, just touching up a bit of powder. And the guy was like, oh my God, like, have you got like a blotting powder? And like when I looked at him, I was like, oh my God, I'd never expect him. Because I'm not saying I'm judging him by the way he looks, but he didn't look like he had anything on. So I was like, well, kind of taken back. So I think now so much guys wear makeup. Even like, I always say there's different ways, different levels to makeup. You don't have to be full beat, full glam. You can do a little bit of concealer, a clear eyebrow gel, and you're good to go. So I feel like makeup comes in different variations to everyone, and it just depends on how you want to express yourself. And for me, that's like a full beat, you know?
A full beat. Is there a lot more kind of like male makeup influencers coming onto the scene?
Oh my God, 100%. Like even again, like 10 years ago, there wasn't much people, especially boys doing makeup. But now when you go on Instagram, there's so much.
Best makeup influencers are men.
But yeah. There's so much male beauty influencers now, like especially doing beauty and skincare makeup. Well, as a few years ago, I think guys were a bit scared to do it.
Yeah.
And I think now we have so much platforms like TikTok and Instagram where people can really express themselves and really, you know, show what they're doing.
I feel like TikTok,
Go on.
I feel like TikTok has made us so visible, especially the femme gays. Like,
oh my God.
every scroll, I'm seeing someone that looks like me. Do you know what I mean? Which I'm not used to that. So I do love TikTok, even though I can't get down with TikTok.
I can't. I'm too old
But
for
I do
TikTok.
love it for that.
Too old. Too many buttons.
Now, as you're saying, definitely the TikTok algorithm is definitely showing a lot of like black boys doing it, black LGBT whatever, and they're really having their moment to shine. Like it's crazy. I remember reading a statistic, and there's more black beauty boys with over 1 million followers on TikTok than there is on Instagram, which is crazy.
TikTok just snatched them all up.
TikTok, especially because I think TikTok's such a creative app where everyone can dance. You can basically do anything on TikTok and become viral. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has their moment, so that's why I really like it.
I want to speak to you guys about last year and Black Lives Matter. Because if we're going to talk about masculinity and toxic masculinity, obviously I feel like we need to go to the root within our community as black people. So obviously Black Lives Matter happened last year, and the whole idea around it is us asking for acceptance, or not asking, but you know what I mean. But then even within that, the toxicity from certain parts of the black community, black men, then meant that we had to then branch off and then have like a Black Queer Lives Matter. How did that make you feel? Where was your...
I mean, so growing up Ghanaian, I always knew that there's black men and then there's black queer men. Or there's black people and there's black queer people. It's not all the time. It's not everywhere. Because listen, I've walked down Ridley Road Market in a pink mini kilt and cute little frilly socks and been told by big Jamaican men that I look good. So that's okay. But when it came to also saying like Black Queer Lives Matter, I knew it was a conversation that needed to happen. And I think now that it's happened, there's a lot more, like, since that's happened, I'm going to share, like, a personal thing. Since that's happened, I did not speak to, or I was not close to, my father's side of the family for maybe the past 9-10 years, right? Now, in the last year, with talking about blackness and queerness and black transness and black queerness, there has been a shift right the way down to like the youngest kids, the youngest people in my family, to the point that they're like, why don't we see my cousin? Why aren't they coming around? And that has made us reconnect. And I think it was just necessary. I don't think it made me feel bad. I don't think it made me feel any type of way. We've been waiting for the right opportunity to talk to our own community, I feel, for a very long time. And the only way that we were going to do it, in the same way that when Stonewall happened, the only way it was going to happen is when everyone fought together.
Yeah.
The only way we were going to do it is when we saw what happened to George Floyd, and we were like, that could have been my brother, my father, my uncle, my cousin, my friend. Doesn't matter whether you're fucking gay, straight, bi, trans, whatever. It doesn't matter. It affected us all the same. And when that happened, we all finally stood up and we were like, listen, you don't have to love everything I do. But in order for us to actually move forward, we need to fight together.
Do you think that got taken on board?
I think it's been taken on board quite widely. I think there's still a lot of stuff to unpick. There's still a lot of stuff to unpick, especially in millennials. I find that up until, I think if you're like 35 now, you're still a millennial, down to, I don't know, I think it was the 80s up until 1995.
Okay.
So 80s up until 1995. If you're born in there, you're a millennial. And there is so much hyper-masculinity and toxic hyper-masculinity within that generation in particular. And I speak to that generation because I am part of that generation. I see so much of that is actually based on being fed jokes in comedy from everything from Juana Man to the Wayans brothers, and making fun of transness, and seeing that in the programming that we grew up with. Okay. That stuff we're having to unpick now.
So do you think the generation coming up after that are in a much better place?
I think the generation coming up after that are in a much better place. And as a lot of people like to complain or diss RuPaul's Drag Race and diss all of this other stuff that's making things that we do to survive and to make money so mainstream that some of us who still do them are not getting the jobs anymore because we don't fit into that mold. But the fact of the visibility, just like being visible on TikTok, the fact that visibility has increased is allowing people to see anyone can do anything. Okay. And more so, allowing black people to see that blackness can do and can be anything.
Do you feel that we've got a problem with toxic masculinity within the black community more than other communities? Or do you reckon our community is just highlighted?
I don't know. Maybe I'm coming from a privileged standpoint.
I say yes. Do you say yes? I say yes. You say no.
I say no. Yeah.
I definitely think so because as I said, like my first realization of that, obviously, growing up around black men and stuff like that. But I remember I was in college and I wanted to wear these like really tight jeans, and I knew that someone was gonna say something to me. That's the thing. Before I wore them, I knew someone was gonna say, because these jeans were tight. And I was just like, you know what? Make someone say something to me. So went college now. The day was going good. As I'm leaving.
So you done the whole day?
Done the whole day. As I'm leaving, these two guys were just standing there. And it was like, oh, do you see his trousers? Do you see his trousers? Do you see his trousers? Like going on all that. And then it's like, oh, it's even worse because he's a black man. He's a black man.
Right.
And I just remember I looked at them and I just walked off. I didn't even... And I was so shocked as well because I was like, that was my first time experiencing something like that. Then it was like, am I man enough? Am I a proper black man? Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like, these are the questions. And I think at the time I was, 17? These are the questions that, kids are going to ask themselves growing up when they're faced in situations like that.
Okay.
And I feel like it stems from, I always think a lot of the things stem from the household, how you're raised. So yeah, I just feel like people need to be better parents.
Sorry, you're going to say something, Gary?
Oh, I was going to say, I had like a similar situation where, I was when I was in Birmingham, I was wearing skinny jeans as well, and it would always be not in a bad way, that one black guy that would say something that was ruining your day, but like, why are you wearing skinny jeans for, man? Look at those jeans.
Yeah, but now all the black boys are wearing skinny jeans. It's a little bit late.
And I feel like they're late because with the modern straight black male, until they see Kanye doing it or Jay-Z or A$AP Rocky, that's when it's.
But even A$AP Rocky gets a lot of ag online because if you go through the comment sections,
true,
you know he come out in. I think it was a kilt he was wearing the other day.
The comment section, I don't even feel like that's real life.
Thank you.
It's true. No.
Do you not?
I feel like it's bare trolling, bare gas.
But the trolls are real people.
No,
they're people with phones.
Say that to your face. They feel like they can express that because they're behind their phone, they're behind
But
their
what about
computer.
with Twitter then? These are real people tweeting real things.
Twitter can be mad. I feel like sometimes when you even look at some like articles that get put out and you see people's comments, especially like racist ones or people talking madness, you're like, how can you tweet this? You know what I mean? You took your whole hand, did 140 characters and pressed enter, and you tweeted this madness.
This
you know
madness.
Like, you look, for example, the woman that said, to Megan, your daughter should have been called Georgina Floyd.
Yeah. How are you going to say that?
How are you going to say? Are you actually mad? So I think sometimes with Twitter, people that are really wicked. But on Instagram, I feel like the comments are sometimes of bots, or sometimes people wouldn't say it to your face. But I feel like in Twitter, well, people would actually say it to your face.
Do you think?
I feel like people shouldn't. Not everyone should be allowed social media.
Do you feel? Do you feel like the whole idea of being masculine, from a black perspective, do we accept other races as being? You know what you were saying, like, oh my god, and he's black as well. Is the black community more accepting of other communities being them?
Yes, oh my god.
Than what they are of.
100%, because if I was a white guy walking around in makeup and a black boy seeing it, he wouldn't bow either, because to them it's kind of like they don't see it, like it's just another pedestrian. But when it's like a black boy wearing makeup, they're like, whoa, like they're like,
what the hell are you doing?
They're like, hold on, I think to them they think, oh my god, that could be my brother, that could be my cousin, and they just see attack modes.
I think all ethnic boys are most horrible to other ethnic boys. So if I get a comment, it's never from a white man. Despite being bullied really badly in high school by them, if I get comment, it's always by someone that looks like me or one of my friends. It's always a brown or black boy that has to say something.
Is this down to the fact that our communities at some point have been do you get what I mean? So the Western world and like Britain, America, white people have been able to kind of like unpick things that they've stitched into other communities and left them behind with.
Oh my god.
Yeah?
Oh my
I just wanted to say two things. First thing is, the reason I say that is because I've seen it. I've been driving in my car and I've seen one of the girls, do you get what I mean? One of the Caucasian girls walking along the street, you know, and I live in North London. I was going to say where? I live in North London. You know, and I've seen walking on the road and it's just nothing. Do you know what I mean? But I think to myself, what if that was me in that exact same situation? Do you know what I mean? I'd be have to throw my hands most probably, or something would be happening. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. No, so the thing that I wanted to say actually was going back to the thing about being oppressed or white, you saying people leaving in the stitches. I actually wrote a letter to Ghana, like openly, because of all the LGBT stuff that's going on. And one of the lines that was in the letter was, Motherland, you are still choking on the medicine that was forced down your throats by the people who shot off the noses of the sphinxes of Egypt, the people that stole the golden stool of the Ashanti, and the people that killed Ya Santua. And this is true. We are choking on bullshit that has been fed to us by people that didn't even care to see us as people. And that is the thing that we're actively unpicking now. The wokeness that we're now seeing, the sense of community that we're now seeing is coming from actually being like, wait, did that idiot try and teach me that? No, I'm not doing that stupidity anymore. You know, that's really what it is. It's not being woke, because I hate the word woke, but it's being awake to the world. It's being awake to the structures that play in the world that have imprisoned you mentally. And I think that I'm so happy that we are able to do this, that we are able to be visible like this, that we are able to come and have these conversations.
Yeah.
Because if we weren't having these conversations, some next man down the road still would not be able to listen because maybe they've stumbled upon Threads because they were just looking for something fun, and maybe they stayed because they wanted to laugh at the non-binary person in the catsuit, or they wanted to have a go at someone's hair. You know what I mean? But they've stayed and they've listened to something and they've heard something.
And they've heard something.
Exactly.
You know what I think? Yeah, like I feel like as black men, we're not really taught how to internally dissect our emotions and really kind of get to the root of what our issues are. Yeah, and I feel like that's why as black men will more so attack black gay men, because it's kind of like, I feel like as black gay men, I feel like we have like this higher thinking, let's call it, right? It's more developed way
I
of
do
thinking.
feel a lot freer.
Right. And I feel like when another black man sees that, it's almost
He
like
can't-
they kind of feel like, why is he allowed to be happy? Why is he allowed to be like that? Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he don't really understand that, babe, you could be happy too.
Yeah.
You can be,
You can
be
live this
happy.
life, baby.
You can do whatever you want to do.
But you got to let go of
Yes.
the fear that traps you within.
And that's what I said about social perception. People are more concerned about what their peers think of them, what their family thinks of them, rather than knowing that you ain't got long on this earth. Do you get what I mean? Like, if you don't do what you want to do now, everyone's going to be dead and gone, and then you're going to be dead and gone, and it wasn't worth it. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Right, we've got 10 minutes left. We've just been chatting. I'm going to ask you both. I'm going to ask you all 2 questions each. The first question is, what are you proud about your community this Pride?
In the queer community as a whole.
What does Pride and community mean to you this year?
I think with like Black Lives Matter and the Stop Asian Hate, and there's still so much work to be done, but the fact that the conversations are happening and people are trying to engage is something that I'm proud of.
Lovely. Shea?
Just off the top of my head, I'm really proud of like the togetherness. Everyone's. I think the conversation today about like pronouns and where people are from. I think there was more segregation in the scene 10 years ago.
Okay. Yes.
And everyone feels like they've got their arms around each other now, and everyone's here to spot each other, and everyone's got their own difficulties and all the different traumas, and everyone's really got their ears open, and the conversations are rolling. So I'm proud of everyone sort of coming, the togetherness.
I think I'm most proud of our perseverance. With every year, with every repealing of laws that protect parts of our community, we still get up and we show up and we show out and we fight.
And that's so important.
You know what I mean? Like last year when lockdown was happening, but we still got up and we still marched for our trans sisters, not trans siblings, all over the world.
Yeah.
Not just here, all over the world. That to me is something beautiful. The fact that we keep persevering, that we keep on keeping on, that is the most, it's the thing that makes me the most proud of our community.
I am proud of how visible we're becoming. Obviously, I'm a musician, and I love seeing artists who are not afraid to be themselves and putting themselves out there. So I encourage more queer artists to come out and do their thing.
Do their thing.
I feel like everyone said everything that was to say. I'd probably say everyone that said something, I'll dissect it from that. Definitely like the visibility, the awareness, as you said, as Omar said, I think now people are becoming more aware and asking about like pronouns and I think just everyone being together. Obviously, it's been such a hard year, like last year, even this year, and I feel like everyone's like more just like aware of how people are feeling, especially when it comes to like mental health, and people have really been going through it. And like I feel like as like 10 years ago, no one would really like even cared like what anyone's gone through. They'd be like, okay, well, this person's that. But now I think people are actually thinking, is this person actually okay?
Yeah.
Are they actually asking questions, and they really want to get to the root of the problem and see if everyone's okay? So I'll probably say that. Yeah.
Hold on. You can answer it in 2 ways.
Okay.
So either if you could, I'm going to have a little RuPaul moment.
Okay, well,
So if you were going to say something to little 5-year-old Gary,
oh my God.
or to anybody who is in a place where they're not the norm,
Okay.
what would you have to say to them?
I would say keep persevering. Don't back down, and don't change yourself for anyone, because the minute you try and be like everyone else, you've lost yourself.
Yeah.
So I would say just keep going at it, because I know there's been times where I've been like, oh, let me just go to the left, but keep going straight to your path and don't try and entwine into any one of us. Yeah.
Are we going around?
Yeah.
I'd say save your money because makeup is expensive.
Oh God. Okay. I would say you may not feel that you can express yourself very well right now, and you may not be in a place that is safe for you to do so. But don't let that stop you from hoping and looking forward to the day that you can express yourself.
Love that.
I would also say, don't ever silence yourself, because no one sees the world the way that you do. Through all of the different experiences, the lenses, even the traumas have informed the kind of person that you are. So do not ever doubt your voice, because your voice is the only one like it in the world. You are a fucking diamond. Just keep on keeping on.
Oh, that was beautiful, Darkwah. That was hard to follow. I will just, one thing I can only talk about myself, and the only thing that I would think about is be honest with yourself. I spent so many years lying to myself, and I think that really stunted my growth. And one of the reasons why I've still got a lot more to go, and I'm sure everyone has, but I would say be honest with yourself. I mean, yeah, that's it.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a similar thing, which is like believe in yourself, like be assertive, like you are the person that you are. Just put that to the world, like you are worth it.
Well, you're all worth it. Like all 5 of you here, 6, are here because you have only been yourselves. Come sit there. You've only been yourselves. The show wouldn't have been able to happen if you were pretending to be somebody else. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I haven't picked you guys because you're Tom Jones from down the road. Like, do you know what I mean? Or whatever, you know, them basic names. I think it's really important to have people in the world who take risks to do what you're told not to do. Because then, imagine if we all conformed to what society, like, you've seen that meme going around where it's like, society says express yourself, and then you do it, they're like, not like that. Yeah. If we didn't express ourselves in the individual ways, or you guys, how boring would things be? Like, do you know what I mean? We need a world with queer individuals in it. Queer boys who do makeup. Boys who look like pretty little girls. But rap with the mouth of a trashy mouth. A putty mouth. Like, do you know what I mean? We need boys like Carter, who's gonna twerk up on the stage and not give a fuck. Like, do you get what I mean? We need I think every borough needs a Darkwah. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, Darkwah for mayor. And like, there's so much. I want you to do one of your. I want you to.
You want me to sing?
It's too late now. We'll come back to that. Shea, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just obsessed with you because you're just so beautiful inside and out. Like, do you get what I mean? And you're just, again, special. And this little bundle of joy here, small Miss Petite, Jonathan Unicorn. Like, again, like 10, 11 years ago when I first met you, there wasn't many people who were just doing what you were like. Yeah, like, my name's Jonathan. Yeah, I'm like, do you get what I mean? You just did your thing and you continue to do your thing. And by all of you doing your thing, you allow space for younger generations to do that. And that's what makes me proud in community. Like, do you get what I mean? That I'm part of a community that is so colourful and so vibrant. We're running out of time, guys, and we could talk forever and ever and ever because there's so much things to talk about. If you've been tuned in, this has been hashtag Pride in Community on It's a Mad Ting. We're going to finish up with one last track from Carter the Bandit. If you want to follow... If you want to follow anybody that's on the sofa, you can find Gary at The Plastic Boy. Karnage Kills. There's no underscores in any of this, is there? Okay, tricking people. Carter the Bandit, the House of Darkwah.
And that's H-A-U-S.
That's about to say, that's H-A-U-S. Shea, Karnage. Got two Karnage.
Different spellings. Though.
Different spellings. And Bestley _ and you can find me at Mark Ashley D. This has been It's a Mad Thing on Feds Radio. You can catch me back here in 2 Wednesdays when I'll be joined by Diana Donna, Mr. Screwface, and I can't remember all my guests right now. But until then, Carter's gonna finish the show. What track is this?
Big Bandit.
Oh, it's the signature tune. Big up Chantel in the DJ booth who's been holding down the music for us. Enjoy the sun, people. Actually, there's none. It's thunderstorms. It's thunderstorms for another 10 days. But anyway, enjoy the sunshine whilst you can. See you later, guys. Headphones for you.
Big Bandit on the beat. I'm a fire starter, baby. We can take it to the streets. Yeah. Look, I'm a big boss, dripping in money, they call me Rick Ross. Couple figures I'm hitting, I make your bitch hot. If it's feelings you're catching, it's cause I'm tip top. Don't stop, I got the power to make your shit rock. Kinda crazy how I'm coming, different vibes. City lock, 2020 on my grind. I hear these niggas plotting, but they get declined. If you ain't winning, you could never take my shine. You could never wine and dine, you will always be behind me. Why these niggas wanna try me? The real HBIC. And when I say it, I mean it, and I'ma get it. Like I said, I'm on my grind, B. 2021, I'm working, bitch. Look. Big Bandit on the beat, I'm a fire starter, baby, we can take it to the streets. Keep on talking like you're on it when I pull up with my team. Hella pretty boys, I don't hear no noise, they can't compete. I don't need a ghostwriter, I'm spitting more fire like I was sparking the lighter. My motivation's higher, hit the spliff and then got higher. I'm breaking niggas' dreams and that's probably cause I'm a fighter. I'm kicking in your door and I want smoke all black attire. These niggas waiting, anticipating, I know they're hating, dropping comments on my pictures just for ratings. That's a dub, niggas show me fake love and I ain't trying to be cuffed. I'm getting money, sitting pretty, tell me really what's up. And if I have to change my flow, you know I'm about to blow up. Don't get it twisted, still that ghetto kid that make him show up. Cause he might off your ting and tell these niggas shut up. Now run my money, get the bag to come up. Big Bandit on the beat, I'm a fire starter, baby, we can take it to the streets. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.